Hey everyone, welcome to Financial Freedom with Gen X with Kirsty and Steve. We're just going to catch up a little bit about what we did last week. Thank you for the feedback about the glare coming from the video. We have modified the video, so we're going to replace it. Feel free, by the way, instead of DMing me directly about the glare, just write it in the notes. Talking like that, we keep a track of it anyway, so it won't be an issue. So, slide update. Going to the GoFundMe page. Thank you very much to our current followers and our new followers who have started contributing. So as you can see there. So we kind of split this in half. So this is what Kirsty and I have put together so far, and this is what's just started to come through to kind of illustrate that we're not expecting everyone to just support us. We are actually working with everyone to get to our end goal of that amount. You won't see this in here because I'll break that down a bit later on. We're actually keeping it off. So because of the current market situation and then waiting for the elections to go through in the US and stuff, we can actually invest that to make that to grow a little bit bigger, a bit quicker. So stick with us on that one and we'll come back to that. We were asked a couple of questions again, personally through DMing rather than actually in the video, about how we are looking at sustainability of it. So Kirsty and I went, okay, fine. So we'll break it down a little bit. So a couple of things that we're looking at doing it. Now, I'm a engineer by trade, Kirsty's a chiropractor by trade. So there's certain things that we can do and certain things we can't do. Kirsty's an awesome cook, but for example, for holding weddings and the restaurant, we're going to get cooking. We can have like our own stuff, but it won't be as good as getting a proper chef in. So a couple of things, Airbnb we can do. Land produce, obviously we have some pictures down here of the two chateaus. I'll post them so they look bigger, but we're looking at property or a chateau with volume in land, so we can have things like beehives. Bees are endangered. Can we return? Can we give somewhere for them to live? British bees and French bees, from my understanding, are a lot bigger than Australian ones, so they're bumblebees. That's it. Eggs, chooks. Kirsty loves fluffy bum chickens, so we're going to have fluffy bum chickens running around everywhere. And obviously at night time and geese and ducks, and it's getting bigger. It started off with selling it to me as a fluffy bum chicken, but now we've got geese and we've got ducks. I don't know what's coming next, but we'll work on it. Vegetables. We're looking at having our own vegetable patch. So like a little market garden where we're going to be growing our own produce, which is all part of sustainability. Dairy products. Obviously with that, we're going to have cattle, cows, have some cows for beef, but obviously you've got to be registered to be able to do all that type of stuff. So I'm presuming, we'll send that out, etc. But that's, again, further down the track. We're also looking at having horses on board. So we're not relying totally on tractors and everything else. So that's all sustainability of not having to, buy extra things, use most of the own equipment on site to be able to do the work, if that makes sense. Outbuildings. Now, all chateaus usually have outbuildings. We're looking at turning those outbuildings into short-term rentals and long-term rentals, so people can actually live on the farm and sort of work with us, or just live on the farm, living in a chateau. It's got that nice ring to it. Obviously, restaurant. Now, Kirsty loves
high teas and degustations. Tragically,
high teas is a very common thing in France and everything else. It's started to pick up over here. Degustations, if people don't know what that is, it's a lot of small meals paired with wine, and you can have a 5-piece degustation, or there's a 7-piece, I think. I'll look into that and come back to you next time. Events, holding weddings. Obviously, when the Chateau is done up nicely, you can hold weddings in the grounds. There's going to be a grand dining room, a grand ballroom in some of the places. Like this one here actually has 30 bedrooms, 28 bathrooms, a grand ballroom, grand dining room, and it's just on the outskirts of the price range. I think it's 1.4 million euro, which equates to just over 2 million Aussie dollars. But obviously, depending on how the markets go at the moment, that might reduce. But that there is also sitting on 50 hectare. So there's plenty of land to be able to do what we want to do. Adjustments. Adjustment is also a sharing your land for cost for other people to allow cattle to graze. Like horses, cattle, etc., etc., etc. So there's that. And then obviously there's going to be our Patreon page. As we're doing all of this, we're going to be videoing it. So we're going to get a couple more GoPros and, stick it on our heads and run around and do weird and funny things, and put Kirsty in a little red tractor and she can drive around and take pictures and everything else like that. So
I think I might need a big red tractor because I am not little.
One thing that we kind of did sort of... we caught up with a friend who came up with a suggestion. He invited us out to coffee, and I was like, well, how about, Kirsty and I were like, how about we buy you coffee, and the money that you were going to pay towards us for coffee, you put into the fund. And he was like, that's an awesome idea. You could call it a coffee fund. So we kind of did a couple of things. Now, if you're like me, I love long macchiatos, which are like about 6.30 in most places. So we kind of downgraded a bit to an even number, which makes it easier for us to work out. So if we have like $2 million, and we break it down to each person, a person contributes $1. We need 2 million people to contribute $1. It's actually more than 2 million because of the 30%, 30 cents and everything else, but this is just round figures. So if we have the $2 million and each coffee costs $5, and people go, well, we're going to buy you a coffee, we're only having 400,000 people that need to contribute like $5. But then again, if you want to take Kirsty and me out for a coffee, that's $10, which means it's only 200,000 people. So it's really doable, and that's where my friend came up and sort of, and Kirsty came up with the idea as well, is we have a coffee fund. That's kind of like a coffee fund, and buy us a coffee, or we'll buy you a coffee, and you can put the coffee into that. So yeah, it works that way. So going back to what we were saying originally about how we're funding this, so obviously everyone's on tiptoes about the elections and everything else happening in the US, which is having an effect on our markets and everything else. The Australian dollar's, and as the Australian dollar does this, the gold does that. Silver's doing that a little bit in the background as well. So we're waiting for another till the 5th, I think. The 5th, yes? Yep. Kirsty's nodding in the background, so that's good. So on the 5th is going to be the elections, whether it's Kamala Harris or Trump or whoever you want, whoever they're going to be voting for and whoever gets in. The US economy tends to drive most other economies around the world. So we're going to wait and see how that goes. Obviously, if one gets in and the other one doesn't get in, it might go up, might come down, whatever. But obviously, we're setting ourselves up here to use that portion on the left-hand side and go, okay, well, if it goes down, then we can buy in and the market will hopefully go slowly back up. But obviously, that's stuff that we've got to look at. But we're smartly going to invest this bit so we can earn that a lot quicker. So we might actually sort of put another thermometer here and just have this one as the GoFundMe, and then the small thermometer at the side we'll have as the full amount of, the 2 million, and we can add to that. Okay. So that's what we're doing, which is why you won't see that amount in the GoFundMe page, because apparently tells you how much is already in there. So we're not going to put that in there because we're going to invest that to get that to grow quicker to help. Obviously, we can't do that with the GoFundMe because it's technically sitting in a GoFundMe. We can't invest that. So like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notified of new messages as they come through. And Kirsty found a really nice saying from a Chinese philosopher, Lao Tzu. It says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Single step. 1,000 miles. We started. Awesome. Thank you. And just remember, life's always good because we have
red wine and Tim Tams.
See you later.